Governments around the world aren't just tightening the net around Bitcoin. They're laying the groundwork to track it, restrict it, and eventually, or currently, confiscate it. And the proof isn't theoretical anymore. One US state just quietly signed something into law that should have every Bitcoiner paying attention. In California, a bill has recently slipped through with language that on the surface looks harmless. But once you understand what it enables and how it could be interpreted, the implications for anyone holding Bitcoin in that state and eventually potentially across the country are massive. We're going to break down what it says, why people didn't notice it, and why people who are noticing are indeed sounding the alarm. And the kicker here is that if governments keep moving in this direction, especially given that it's coming from California, you may only have a couple years before a full-blown Operation Choke Point 3.0 reshapes how Americans interact with Bitcoin altogether. Today, we're going to dig into all that and much more. Keep it locked in. Drop a like on the video. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your weekly session. All right, I want to welcome to the show co-host with the most, Mr. Nathan Fitzsimmons. How you doing, buddy?
How am I doing, Ben? Ben, I am doing absolutely amazing right now. Why you ask? That's because the sovereign state of Alberta is beginning to rise from the ashes like a phoenix on the burning carcass of the communist Canada that is falling apart in front of us. I couldn't be more excited about what's going on in Alberta right now. So, Ben, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Tell me how you really feel. Yeah, we're going to be discussing some of that. There is movement afoot. Chatting with some interesting people, even just you and I on our front. We think and know that Bitcoin needs to be a part of this conversation. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, the story at hand. And so, yeah, a number of people have been chatting about this. And excuse me while I get my screen up here. But California. There has been some interesting movement there as of late and over the last little bit. And it has to do with their lovely governor there, Mr. Gavin Newsom. Totally not slimy at all, that guy.
Doesn't look like a reptile at all. There's nothing about him that looks scaly to me.
Yeah. So anyways, this bill that we're chatting about here, this effectively, and the proposal was a while back and it's kind of flitted through, but yeah, it's in now. So he signed this bill. It allows the state to transfer custody of any Bitcoin or cryptocurrency that are held on exchanges after 3 years of inactivity. So, you have it somewhere custodied, and you just sit it there and maybe newcomers don't understand and they kind of leave it there. Oh, I've got Bitcoin. And then down the line, they're like, well, nobody's used this in a while, so yoink. And yeah, under the law, inactive accounts on centralized exchanges are classified as unclaimed property. So, I mean, this is a very early step of being able to just like take your shit. And what has the major push been of the past year and a bit, all these different custodied products and everything. And so, yeah, this is not great. And I want to make the case for why people should be paying special attention to how California treats this stuff. And first, I want to chat a little bit about how under a friendly government, a Bitcoin-friendly government right now, how are things going? Well, I mean, a couple good things, like Choke Point 2.0 seems to have been, they backed up
and back a little.
Yeah. So like it's definitely a little easier to operate Bitcoin businesses and stuff like that. We freed Ross. That's been the number one victory of this entire thing, right?
It's been the only victory of this entire thing. The rest of it has been unbelievably disappointing. Like, oh my God, are we looking at doing more wars again? This is stupid. That was a win. The rest, the spending, the debt, not so much.
Yeah. Agreed there. But then also we have some pretty horrible things that continue to happen. We have open source developers that are now in prison under a friendly government that said they would not prosecute open source developers for the actions of their end users. And yet we have the example here, Bill and Keone in prison right now for, basically making Samurai Wallet a non-custodial privacy Bitcoin wallet. Furthermore, even with the government saying like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Furthermore, there's an executive action. If you take any Bitcoin, like if anything is taken and it's confiscated by the state, that's supposed to go into the strategic Bitcoin reserve.
The stolen Bitcoin reserves. That's right. The stolen Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah. If you steal Bitcoin, you got to keep the stolen Bitcoin and put it in the stolen Bitcoin reserve. However, it seems that that they liquidated the Bitcoin that was confiscated from the Samurai Wallet developers. There was a wallet that was then sent to a Coinbase Premium or whatever the high-end Coinbase account was, and they could track
the high-end Coinbase account. That just, I don't know. It's just like lipstick on a pig. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. But it looks as if it was stolen. Now the government is denying that it's been stolen, but you've got, again, here, Senator Lummis saying, why is the US government still liquidating Bitcoin when Trump explicitly directed these assets be preserved for a strategic Bitcoin reserve? We can't afford to squander these strategic assets while other nations are accumulating both. I'm deeply concerned about this report. Now, I mean, the bigger concern again here is that we have open source developers in prison and you stole money from them. But I also agree, it's like, the government is not following the rules of the government itself. And yeah, I mean, it's just wild to see that even under a friendly president, all of this shit is still happening. And under Joe Biden, it was even worse, right? And it was openly antagonistic. And there's an election in a couple of years, my friends, and who is one of the major front runners? None other than California Governor Gavin Newsom. Here's Politico from the fall. Admit it, Gavin Newsom is the 2028 frontrunner. Can you imagine this slimy sack of crap? I mean, never trust any politician, but holy Jesus, the way this guy has torpedoed his state is like none other. But also just his approach to just about everything and the way that they're treating Bitcoin. And so it's time that people begin to look at this face here, friends. That's a possibility. You might be getting that in a couple of years. And if you do, is your Bitcoin stash resilient enough to handle it? And Gavin Newsom is a big fan of a lot of things that most Bitcoiners, libertarians, and capitalists are not fans of. And there's a good chance that you're going to get things like, unrealized cap gains, stuff like that. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that could come down in in a regime under a man like this. And so I want to contrast something. And one of them is the confiscation. Where was it? I'm trying to find. It was. Oh, I don't have it here. It's the confiscation of Venezuela's precious metals.
Oh my God, yes. They got in there and they took the silver reserves, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But of course, that's always what they're going to do. When you're in any sort of situation where you've got, let me just see if I can pull it up here. You're in any sort of situation where you are dealing with one government invading another government, it's always for blood and treasure, right? They're always going in there and looking to see what they can take. And the one thing that they can take that people seem to forget about all the time is just the tax base. But when you got a pile of precious metals hanging out there, of course, they're going to grab that one as well, too. So I think I got it right here.
There you go. There, perfect.
We got breaking. United States seizes Venezuela's $1 trillion of precious metals. Less than 24 hours after the invasion of Venezuela, the U.S. government quietly secured a massive smelter deal to process Venezuela's $1 trillion worth of precious metals. Cost of the new facility, $8 billion. Financier, J.P. Morgan. What a surprise. Isn't that so strange that they went into, they had to go in for, don't forget, guys, this is all about drugs. It was about drugs and weapons. This man who had an army also had weapons with his drugs. It's so weird that that's an issue. They might want to check out the whole army bases there. I'd find even more. But now they're setting up to take both the, of course, they're going to have, ExxonMobil and all of our wonderful friends in the energy industry taking over their oil reserves, which are the largest in the world. And apparently we're taking on $1 trillion worth of precious metals because you can seize that. Because if you have the force, you have the proof of weapons network. This is the kind of shit that you can pull. But sorry, Ben, you were saying there.
Yeah. So, and I want to, I want to balance it by saying, Maduro sucked ass, right? Like Maduro was just a piece of crap.
Well, it depends how you're grading it, because he was very successful for a bus driver, if that's the curve we're on.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But like the conditions under Maduro were horrendous. But two things can be true. He could be a horrible person, and the conditions in Venezuela could be horrible, and removing him for the Venezuelan people can be good, but it can also be that he was removed not for altruistic reasons. It's very clear the reason that he was removed. So I think we can keep those two thoughts in our heads as we're discussing this. And the thing that I wanted to contrast is, okay, so they can easily take the precious metals. They got control of that. And then there was discussion in and around, did Venezuela have a big Bitcoin stash? Because, they created their petro digital currency, but they were using Bitcoin and they were exporting oil and they were doing all this different stuff. And there's speculation there could be up to 60 billion worth of Bitcoin. And so there's a CNBC report where it says, CNBC says the US government could seize Venezuela's Bitcoin reserves. Now, there's a very important word in there. And that word to me is could. There's a reason that for the Bitcoin part of it, it says could. And for the precious metals part of it, it says did. And that's because when the physical asset is right there and easy to seize, it can be seized very easily. When you have something like Bitcoin, where when done properly, you can effectively hide keys or disperse keys through a geographically dispersed multisig, where multiple keys are around different parts of the world, then you can, even with a standing army invading a particular country, it's possible to still actually protect those assets from seizure, which is something that the world prior to Bitcoin hadn't seen. And so in the context of what we're talking about, which is this bag of trash here, and how he's already looking at, well, if you leave that sitting around, the state will just take it. With any other asset, that would be an insane thing to say, like, oh, I see that you've been saving some money in your sock drawer, but you haven't touched it or used it in 3 years. The state's going to need a piece of that. Oh, you've got an old car parked in the garage, a vintage car. You've held it in here for the 3 years. We're going to need to take that, or at least sell it and take a portion of the proceeds. Like any other asset that somebody is holding as a savings mechanism, it would be asinine to say that, but I guess not Bitcoin. So I mean, yeah, this is kind of, I think, where we're headed if this guy gets in. And even if he doesn't, you need to be cognizant that you can't rely on who is in office, because you're always one election away from the other guy being in. It's not an issue of red and blue. It's an issue of the state and you. And you need to make sure that your assets are secure. Nathan, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on this.
Any thoughts on this demon in the sun? Yeah, there's a lot of them. More or less, I mean, the thing that jumps out at me too is think about how many times people forgot they had Bitcoin in exchanges back in the day, like for years and years at a time. And everyone thinks that kind of price appreciation is done, but it's not. Like, is it largely going to be diminishing returns over the next little while? Like, probably, except for there will be moments. There will be moments, like we were just speaking with Joe Consorti about this. There will be moments when, like, we saw gold basically double in market value in a very compressed period of time. Bitcoin is a much smaller market cap and can do that. A 10x is not still out of the cards, particularly people start to wake up or we have a huge move in. So there's so many people that the only reason they held on to Bitcoin for so long was because they forgot about it, or they lost the password, they lost the keys, and then later recovered it. So normalizing that, I think, is taking away a ton of purchasing power from people that would otherwise maybe have just forgotten about it and come back. Not to mention, you always hear these things about, like, who are the best traders in the market, and it's the accounts where the person died and they forgot about it. So what about situations the person is injured, had some sort of event, they've lost a login or something temporarily, or they've actually been deceased, and the people that the inheritors haven't claimed those funds yet? Did they get recourse? We're normalizing confiscating inactive digital assets. We're normalizing confiscating. What they're basically saying is, what it reminds me of too, is a little bit concerning, is that it's a destruction of savings, right? It's saying, hey, you can't park something and forget about it and plan years ahead. You need to spend this, you need to deal with it, you need to convert it back into US dollars and have that tax hit on it so we can have that income coming through, because California is fucking broke. It's another attack on just your ability to save and plan for the future, to save the fruits of your labor, the work that you've already done. This, for me, does not feel like a far cry away from, if you remember, the digital yuan literally had like expiring digital currency. Like, I think that's probably one of the things about Bitcoin going forward that's going to be a major headache for the state, is that it doesn't degrade. And they're going to be pushing out CBDCs more and more. We can see that going in Europe. And part of it is they'll talk about, like, the importance of, like, money velocity, all this Keynesian and fucking modern monetary bullshit, that they want to have the ability that if you have savings, to force you to spend it, right? Because this is just one of the ways to keep this Ponzi scheme going. So again, self-custody is not difficult. It takes a little bit of responsibility and time. Everybody can do it. We train people in their 80s and older. It's absolutely 100% can be done. But even the small move here is, again, I think another poke, another stab at the idea of just having savings and not necessarily having to consume the money or assets that you have. So I absolutely hate it. I hate that these sort of things get normalized. And again, you're right. Like, I didn't touch my hockey skates for like 5 years because I had kids that didn't get on the ice, but I pulled them out and I had to go to the rink. Should those have been taken too? That I forfeit those at this point in time? It's a gross overstep. It's just another little signpost of where we're going. They're letting you know what they're going to do. They're letting you know what they want. They need Bitcoin in their control, not your control. Because if it's in your control, you have the power, right? It's freedom technology only if you have the private key. So they'll keep chipping away at it, and we should be pushed back on every little thing like this. And for anybody who's in California, talk to your friends, talk to your relatives, talk to everybody around you. Make sure they know that this is coming, and they start to learn about self-custody now.
Yeah. And that's what's on the screen there. There's a learn page that we put together, and it just has tutorials to walk you down that path of, set up your first wallet and learn how to use hardware so it's secure. Or, as we're discussing here, like, if you're worried about somebody coming to your physical place and trying to get your keys, make a multisig and put keys in multiple places. They're going to need multiple of those keys in order to access the funds. So there's so many cool things that you can use to really secure yourself.
And let's not forget too that this is a wonderfully awful example of what they could do, right? Yeah. If you thought that, like, no, it's still fine at IBIT, it's still totally fine in my exchange that's not in California. No, they have always had the ability to seize it from the exchange. They always will have the ability to seize it from the exchanges that reside in that geographical area controlled by the U.S. government, probably abroad as well too. Mm-hmm. So don't assume that because you're not in California that, like, oh, this is something that affects those crazy communists on the West Coast. Yes, it does, but it can easily apply to every one of you. And this is the proof. This is the proof right there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we're going to jump to another topic here right after the break. There's something actually pretty cool and new that came out. I'm going to kind of weigh it as realistically and honestly as I can. But the YouTube competitor Rumble has released a Bitcoin native wallet on the platform. So we're obviously streaming to Rumble right now. And that's a thing that people can use there. And so, yeah, you can now receive as a creator or as a user tip people in Bitcoin. So I'm going to give kind of like a hot take on the wallet so far, what it is, what it does, and kind of what's been coming out on it. And yeah, just kind of give my honest reaction. I am working on a tutorial for it as well. But yeah, let's do some hot takes on it. So if you're enjoying the conversation, of course, please do drop a like on the video. If you're brand new here, please do subscribe. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC Sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The Tap Signer gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away.
One company I like pointing people to when they ask about Bitcoin mining is Abundant Mines. They were founded by Bo and Christine Turner after losing over $500,000 to broken promises in the mining industry. And they built their hosting model to remove the usual headaches. With Abundant Mines, you own your machines and keep 100% of the Bitcoin you mine. There's no revenue share, no hidden skims. Pricing is simple. One flat monthly fee covers power, parts, labor, and repairs. They also guarantee uptime. If a machine goes down, their hash rate redirect system routes hash power from their fleet so earnings don't just stop, and every machine is insured at full replacement value. Everything is hosted in the US, powered by Hydro, and mining equipment may qualify for 100% year one bonus depreciation. Learn more at abundantmines.com/sessions. All right, back in. Let's chat Rumble Wallet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so this is making the rounds, and pull up my screen here. So this is the official page of Rumble Wallet, and it's more or less baked into the platform. So you're watching a video, there's a little tip button, and you can tip creators. So it's rolled out. It's iOS, it's Android. This has been kind of all over the news too, because let's not forget, Rumble was the place that YouTubers went to when they got deplatformed during COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was.
Speaking of, don't forget that fucker Kevin Newsom. Remember the French Laundry? Like, not only is he bad on this, he was atrocious during that time as well. Sorry, just want to throw that one in there. Guys are evil.
Yes, exactly. And so, Rumble stepped up and said, like, hey, we're not gonna stop you from disagreeing with policy and disagreeing with medical guidance and all this kind of stuff, basically for being able to speak your mind. And so this is where a lot of creators ended up. A lot of people were just booted off YouTube. That's just kind of how it was. And people that wanted to dissent and didn't want to be removed basically had to shut up. They had to try to censor certain words from themselves or whatever, and they would still get flagged by others and removed. It was crazy. And so, yeah, Rumble now has integrated Bitcoin. They've partnered with Tether to do this. So the wallet itself, again, and a lot of this is focused in and around financial prevention of financial censorship, which I think is the right position to go at it from. So yeah, you can support whoever you want. You can basically tip in and receive and hold Bitcoin. They also support stable coins because I think they're definitely catering to the Bitcoin timid. So you can have like your Tether in the wallet, and then they also have tipping in Tether Gold. So first off, The wallet itself is self-custody. So you hold the keys, you get a seed phrase. They do have an encrypted cloud backup for, again, the technologically timid. It is a hot wallet, of course. So as with a hot wallet, you don't want to load it up with too much money before you start looking at cold storage, dedicated devices to secure your Bitcoin with. But yeah, so this is how it's rolling out. Now, some people may watch this later and be like, what's the difference between Bitcoin and Tether Gold and everything? And there is indeed a difference here. So Bitcoin, obviously, the currency itself is digital. So there's, when you have a self-custody wallet, you're holding your own Bitcoin. There's no counterparty risk there. You have the thing is digital, you own it. When it comes to Tether and Tether Gold, it's important to keep in mind that what is Tether? It is a US dollar stablecoin, meaning that it is a digital representation of dollars or dollar denominated assets that are held by a financial institution somewhere, right? So there is counterparty risk in that. Tether has a bank account or has US treasuries or has whatever.
A lot of US treasuries.
Yeah, a lot of US treasuries. There's a whole other angle to that too. But so what I'm saying is the Tether itself isn't the dollars. It's an abstraction, much like, you have credit on a credit card, or it's an IOU for the real thing. Okay. So just know the difference. Same with Tether Gold. There's gold or gold-backed securities or something along those lines backing those, but it tracks the price of gold or it tracks the purchasing power of the dollar, but there's a peg in place in some way, shape, or form. So just knowing the difference in counterparty risk, whereas Bitcoin, you hold the Bitcoin, Tether, you hold the token that represents the dollar somewhere. Okay. Now, the positives, obviously, self-custody. That's huge. Obviously, Bitcoin baked into a widely used video platform that leans heavily towards free speech. That is excellent. Now, off the bat, right now, the Bitcoin portion of the wallet is on chain. So in the context of tipping, there's a couple major drawbacks for that. On-chain Bitcoin, again, if you're a newbie here, on-chain transactions are a little slower, a little bit more expensive. They don't lend themselves to small value transactions, which means if you're tipping somebody like a quarter, you may spend the same amount to send the tip to them. And when they receive it, if fees happen to go up, it may be more expensive to spend the quarter than the actual quarter itself worth of purchasing power. So you may spend more than 25 cents worth of fees to spend 25 cents. So it's not an ideal form of being able to tip. I'm going to go into the other negative around the way that the on-chain stuff works, but then I'm going to finish by giving a positive of something that's coming. So I'm going to share. So here's an example. Don't send to this right now. This is the show from yesterday on Rumble. And so like under the show, there's a tip button. You hit it. It does give you a QR code. You can scan this with your Rumble wallet on your mobile phone. If you don't have a Rumble wallet, it says tip with another crypto wallet. You hit that. It gives you the option to tip in Tether or Tether Gold or Bitcoin. When you choose Bitcoin, it says Bitcoin on chain. You click it. It gives you a Bitcoin address. This Bitcoin address is static. It stays the same. If you know how Bitcoin works, you will know that that is not good for privacy. The ideal situation, if it were to remain on chain, and that's just how it worked, would be a new address every single time. Now, why is this bad privacy wise? Well, I've taken this address, I've copied it, and I put it into a block explorer. There are many different block explorers, but you're able to audit Bitcoin transactions and Bitcoin addresses. when I audit this address, if this is the only tip address I have, you can now see every single tip that I've ever gotten to that address. As of right now, there are 4 tips worth about $29. What this means for creators, if this is how the wallet continues to function into the future, it means that larger creators that get massive tips, every person on the planet will be able, and sorry, I missed mempool here, but one sec, let me just pull it up. So here's the address. It shows 4 transactions. It shows total amount. It shows the different transactions coming in and when. It shows the pieces of Bitcoin that were actually initially donated to me. It shows the transactions. It shows this one was from a multisig address. So somebody was sending multisig. It shows all of these details and anybody can audit them. This isn't just me that can do this. Any person that goes to my tip page can see all of this information. So a larger artist that maybe gets tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially or more, everybody can see all of that, can audit it at any point. And maybe if you're a person that wasn't expecting to get and you don't have like, if you're not living in a super secure place or whatever, people, it paints a target on people's backs.
Yeah.
And so the number one thing I would like to see out of the wallet is if on-chain remains, then this information should be a new address every single time. The address itself should change every time. This is kind of Bitcoin Wallet 101 most important thing for on-chain transactions. However, there's indication both from the web page and because I'm also in contact with the team, I got to kind of play around with the wallet beforehand, is that they are working on Lightning. And so I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but they've already leaked it on their page anyway. So I'm going to say it. Support what you love instantly. It shows an example of Bitcoin wallet. And what does it say? Lightning/Spark. And so that means that, yes, you will be able to do Lightning tips in the Rumble wallet. It's not rolled out yet, but that will be the case. That will be a major boon for cheap transactions, cheap, fast transactions. That will be excellent. What it will also enable, given that it's using Lightning and because I see Spark there, that means you'll also be able to, I imagine, have a Lightning address, which means instead of a long string of digits, you'll have something like BTC Sessions at rumble.com. Like that's
the win.
Yeah, that's a huge win. Just be like, yeah, zap me at BTC Sessions at rumble.com. Like that's so much easier. Now, Spark itself does have some privacy issues, but they're no longer front-facing. It used to be a problem because people could see, again, transactions. But Spark now front-facing for the average person, they won't be able to audit transactions, any Lightning transactions that you get. Spark itself as an operator can see those, though. Yeah. So just so you know, there's a trade-off there. But the ease of use with Spark is the trade-off where that comes. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a net positive, and I'm not raising the issues to in any way like deter from what Rumble Wallet and Rumble the platform are trying to do here. I just want to like give like an honest take on what is it now and where can it go. And I think the implementation of Lightning is huge. I would almost say that that on-chain should be deprecated, or at the very least kind of hidden as like a hidden option. Lightning should definitely be first and foremost. And on-chain, because a lot of people don't understand also the fee, how fees work. And they're gonna go and they're gonna tip somebody 25 cents on chain, and then somebody's gonna have a bunch of little UTXOs and they're going to go to spend, and then the fee on the other side of that for the artist is going to be horrendous because that's how Bitcoin works. So it'll take time, but I hope to see a lot of this. Now, Chris, CEO of Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky, he said, if it's not clear, I'll make it really clear. Rumble Wallet will compete directly against Coinbase and Venmo, but we're not custodial. We cannot shut down your account. is true financial freedom to buy, hold, and tip crypto, built and backed by Tether and Rumble. So, he's taking shots at custodians and everything, rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
I saw some people also online raising an issue in and around, to enable it, you need to provide your full legal name. I'm pretty sure you could just type whatever the hell you wanted into that field.
Yep.
So you don't like that. But I mean, realistically, like, I don't think there's any need to even ask that. It's a self-custody wallet. So like, I feel like that could just be removed. But if you see that pop up, just make something up. I don't know. Tim the Toolman Taylor is receiving Bitcoin tips now. Yeah, I don't know. Nathan, what do you think about the Rumble wallet and where we're headed? Like, is this a big deal for you? How are you taking this?
This is a big deal, and I'll explain my thoughts there. First and foremost, can you sign checks BTC Sessions? Can you do that yet? Because if you can, that's pretty cool. We should start doing that.
I'll try. I'll see what happens.
See, the bank rejects it. Okay, so first and foremost, like Chris, if you're listening, this is an easy win. You need to make this happen. You're right. Those Bolt 12 Lightning addresses, you need to make that happen. We need to get that in there nice and quick. The reason being is so many of these creators that are coming on, this is probably going to be one of their first touch points for actually interacting with Bitcoin. And from like a marketing and branding standpoint, like how wonderful is that if you have these artists that have never set up a Lightning wallet beforehand, and now when they're receiving tips on any platform, they're using like BTC Sessions at rumble.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in terms of building up Rumble as a platform, getting more people there, getting people on Lightning, giving them an easy Bolt 12 self-custody with Spark Enough wallet, I think is incredibly powerful. So don't miss that opportunity. And you're right. I still think that they should have the on-chain addresses. But what doesn't make sense to me is why didn't they go with Taproot silent payment addresses? Like, if you're just going to reuse it over and over again, like, one, there's the privacy aspect. There is a security aspect. Like, again, the quantum stuff is mostly FUD. But if these things come to fruition, not reusing addresses and using native SegWit is a really good way to go to already be kind of secured against that sort of thing. But if we're reusing addresses anyways, we might as well use Taproot silent payment addresses. So that you could have a static one that people can't necessarily audit. 3, if we're going to set this up, you're right. Most people are not going to know, at least initially, about UTXO management, about consolidating, about the fees and how the inputs and the outputs and how it's actually going to change. How many signatures are at play here? That it should just be set up with like, hey, just 2 things. You want to tip your creator in Bitcoin. Type in the amount first. If it's over $100, switch to static address maybe, or like over 1,000, we'll say. It will switch to a static Taproot address. If it's under, here's the Lightning. And sure, you can have like a manual button there too. But you're right. We need to direct people to best practices and guide them there before they actually hit that point on their learning journey, which means we're showing the Lightning invoice or the Lightning address first, and then possibly even having just the amount, and then it kind of automatically assesses, like Blink Wallet does, and I think a few of these others as well. That will I think Breeze might as well. That you're basically, based on what you're trying to do, it will assess what is the best kind of security versus speed and convenience trade-off most appropriate for this transaction. And again, you've got Paulo from Tether there, who's working with Jack Mallers over at Strike. These guys know Lightning. This is not difficult. You've got a wonderful team and a shit ton of money behind you on this. I really love what they're doing. I think this was not well executed in terms of launch. It kind of reminds me of Chivo Wallet a little bit. Like I expected more from Rumble. That is not a shot. I am here to help. I have my suggestions. The Rumble team, love and support you. You can tell me to pan sound. That's totally fine. Now, to the more important part is that this potentially is one of those cultural shifts, and it probably won't have its main impact until later. The whole like creator economy and even just artists in general is completely shifting from what it was. There's not gatekeepers anymore, including like even YouTube is falling by the wayside. Twitter, we have the Nostr alternative. YouTube, we've got Rumble, but even like the need to go through music labels, to need to go through even like movie studios, like the technology and the platforms, the barrier to entry have never been lower, right? We've gotten rid of the gatekeepers. If you have good art and good stories and like emotion and power, and it's provocative and people love it and enjoy it, or maybe it's just super entertaining and silly, you can go right to that fan base and no one can stop you. The one thing that they can do is still screw with your finances. So by disintermediating, getting art and creators to an audience, the same way that we're disintermediating, there's no banks or Visa or MasterCard or PayPal Mafia or anybody in between. That I love, and that I'm so glad to see here and normalize. And I bet you, and it's not in any way to be kind of doomer, I bet you this is not going to take off initially. And I really hope they just leave it and they keep working on it and they keep refining it. There's going to come a moment. I have my concerns about Elon and Twitter and what they're setting up there and potential social credit score going down the line, right? I have my concerns about YouTube. They're friendly-ish right now, but we can tell you from our back end, YouTube keeps screwing with us, and it's a little bit concerning. It's getting really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
We have Governor Gavin Newsom, lizard face man, as the potential front runner for the Democrats, and things aren't looking good for Trump right now. His popularity is declining. We're having some issues there. I'm not taking a shot at Trump even in saying that. What I'm saying is that like Vance, who's probably going to be the next pick for 2028, is not a shoo-in, at least not right now, right? There's declining libertarian support with at least the interventionism going on. And it's not a given that he's going to take that. So Democrats taking 2028, very, very, very likely. So all that to say, the environment's probably going to get more hostile on the major mainstream platforms again. It'll probably be another kind of like 2016 when they're censoring, or even during COVID, 2021. It's when the censorship shows up in strong force again. It's when creators are being deplatformed, demonetized, debanked, and being kicked off that we will see that crackdown again. It's coming. And then they're going to go to Rumble and the infrastructure is already built. That's when this thing is going to take off. So I love what they're doing. I think it's so important for artists and entrepreneurs. I think we need that resource there. I think we can refine it, improve it, and the flood of people is coming at the next crackdown.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's and there will be another crackdown.
There will be another crackdown. There's always another crackdown.
Yeah, the government crackdowns are almost as certain as death and taxes.
Yep, 100%. Yep.
Now, we were just talking about self-custody, you know, like even though it's not perfect yet, it's still a step in the right direction that Rumble is doing. So hats off to them. But I will also say that just because something offers a self-custody option doesn't mean that they always do the best job. Case in point, Ledger again pretends to be shocked. Another data leak. So again, case in point, this is one of the issues with taking and storing in perpetuity your customer data. So Ledger takes, you know, emails. That's fine. They take full name, personal address. If you have to deliver there, yeah, they're going to have that information. But like the amount of times that we have gone on this show and said there's been a Ledger data leak, or there's been insert whatever else that is not glowing about Ledger. I'm tired.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's guys, KYC is the crime. Why are we collecting this information? If we have to collect this information, why on earth are you keeping it any longer than you need to?
Yeah. So this is the official Ledger site, and this is their global incident to order data January 2026. It's basically just an FAQ, and every single one of these has a drop-down explanation. It's lengthy. The better thing, if you want a TLDR, community alert Ledger. This is from Zach XBT. Thanks for the FYI. Ledger had another data breach via payment processor at Global E, leaking the personal data of customers' name and other contact information. Earlier today, customers received the email below, and the email said, dear customer, Global E recently identified unusual activity on a portion of our network. Immediately after we became aware of the unusual activity in our cloud systems, we took action to contain and ultimately secure our systems. We retained independent forensic experts to conduct an investigation into the incident, and we were able to determine that some personal data, including name and contact information, were improperly accessed. So yeah, this has happened time and again with Ledger. There's been a number of things that Ledger's done. I won't go through the laundry list right now.
Too long.
Yeah, but I think we should talk lessons from this. So one would be, ideally, use vendors that regularly delete customer data. Like if you're buying something important like this, Like CoinKite with the cold card, they regularly delete customer data. So there's a small window from a time that you purchase to the time that they delete all of your personal information. You can also, if you want it deleted quicker, you can email customer support and get them to delete it faster. Yep. So it's only there for, like you order something, you get it in your, you get it delivered to you, and then you email them and say, got it, can you delete my information now? And they will. This is not the case with Ledger. They keep it for, I don't know how long, forever.
It seems like forever. They're probably using it for marketing materials.
Yeah. Back in the day, I did a number of different Ledger videos, just like showing how to use them. I was caught up in, I don't know, the umpteenth, whatever old Ledger. I still get emails. I still get all kinds of crap, all kinds of communication. And that's, thanks to Ledger and their data policies. I don't know. What other tips come to mind for you, Nathan, in trying to mitigate stuff like this?
Don't buy Ledger. There you go. I saved you a lot of trouble there. First and foremost, what can we do? Again, you want to have minimal data and information out there. I also know that if you get an opportunity, by the way, to put out false information in any forms and things that you're filling out, do it, because you're seeding it with bad info, which is great for kind of OPSEC as well. Being aware of the most common scams and hacks. And actually, on that note too, I actually just recorded a podcast with Chris Hadnagy, author of Social Engineering, one of the foremost experts in social engineering and hacking, and defending against this sort of stuff and how they get at it, which is fascinating how they actually find their way there. But it's mostly about being aware, right? So the big thing is to be aware so you can identify when you're getting a romance scam, an investment scam, when you have somebody that's coming after you, that they're trying to get your information, right? Usually these scams are successful only because of of asymmetrical information. So continue learning, know what you have, know what you hold, know how to secure it. Again, defending against it. If you have a company that has a history of doing this, it's like steer clear. The other one for me that jumps out is the Bitcoin only. So like whenever I'm recommending a hardware device, I'm looking for has a screen, secure element, air gap transactions, Bitcoin only, open source viewable, and reputable company. So the problems that I have with Ledger would be can't do air gap transactions, not sure about the reputation, not Bitcoin only. The reason that Bitcoin only is not only from the software footprint as well too, but I find that the companies that are focused solely on Bitcoin and not onboarding every damn shitcoin, they're directing manpower into onboarding that crap and supporting that crap, where they should just be focusing on their customers, on Bitcoin security, and their customer security, right? You don't see this shit happening at CoinKite. So I steer clear of the multi-supporting platforms as well too, because again, they're directing resources away from that. What else would I suggest kind of on that front? Those are the big ones.
If you can, get a PO box.
Yeah.
Get Bitcoin related stuff delivered there. If your personal address is floating out there, that's not ideal, and it gets caught up in this. And then, it's not necessarily saying that somebody's going to come to your house. They could, but also people are going to send you physical mail. And bullshit like that. There's plenty of examples in one of the previous Ledger hacks where people were getting physical mails and promotions for Richard Hart's Hex project and shit like it's just insane.
I've seen Ledger support letters that have gone up. I've seen a few of them of on paper traditional mail letters for tech support updates that are phishing scams. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I do also want to add there too that by the way, I will call them out a little bit. Letting Global E kind of fall on the sword here is a bitch move from Ledger. You chose to use a third party to deal with your payments and your customers rather than yourself. You outsourced it to a third party, introduced more risk and more trust, and now your customers are paying the price for that. So that's your fucking fault, guys.
Yeah. It's rough. It's all around not good. But yeah, and furthermore, to the point of if you're really worried about, getting a hardware device and having your information out there, even if you can get it deleted quickly, then I would say the next logical step for you, if you're at that level of OPSEC, is a DIY signing device.
Yeah.
Build yourself a seed signer, go with something like Crux, whatever it may be. But there are open source projects out there where you can indeed build your own thing and nobody even knows that you have a hardware device. Nobody knows you have a Bitcoin signer. Nobody knows you have Bitcoin in cold storage if you obtained it without KYC.
Agreed. And don't forget, there are brick and mortar resellers too, where you can go and buy these things in a store with cash. I think there's a great one. What is it in Saskatchewan?
QuickBit.
QuickBit. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and then the other one too that I would note is that if your information is already out there, there are good services. There's some that I work with as well too. If you hit me up a DM, I can connect you. They're not always necessarily cheap, but there are privacy-focused services out there that will do their damnedest to obfuscate and scrub your information from both the internet and kind of the dark web as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Nathan, I want to pivot here to something even spicier.
What? Even spicier?
We need to break out. Okay, there's gonna be people mad at me for my take on this from all angles. I don't give a shit. It is objectively funny. Okay. So let's go to the core versus knots debate here. Okay.
Everybody get ready to shit on Ben in the chat. Let's go.
It's okay. Okay. Hold on. Stay with me here. Okay. I mean, I made a video on how to run knots. You want to run knots? Great. I think like 50,000 people watch that. Fantastic. Super stoked about that. You know, people that are like firmly in the core camp are saying, okay, don't run knots. Knots, you know, not enough eyes in the code. There could be bugs, everything like that. And lo and behold, what happens? There's a bug in core. So what the hell is going on? Okay. Bitcoin Core project tweets out wallet migration bug present in Bitcoin Core wallet 30.0 and 30.1. Under rare circumstances, migrating a legacy wallet. So when you have like it used to be like .dat files stored if you have a wallet that you started in Bitcoin Core. If you're migrating a legacy wallet, and actually, you know what? I think I saw something where it's anything before 2022 is considered legacy. Okay, so like if you created a wallet in Bitcoin Core itself prior to 2022, we'll just call it, wallet can delete all wallet files on the same node. If those wallets aren't backed up, this can result in a loss of funds.
No shit.
Yeah. So I can't remember the exact scenario, but it was something like, if as you're migrating, the migration process fails, which doesn't, and if the migration process fails and you didn't have a backup, then you're kind of screwed. Okay, so a fix will become available in Bitcoin Core 30.2. Until that is released, do not migrate legacy wallets using 30 or 30.1. Only the legacy wallet migration process is affected. All other uses are unaffected. You can continue using Core normally, including existing wallets and running a node without wallets. So, okay, so this comes out. I will say that you know, a lot of people that have, you know, been at bat for Bitcoin Core the whole time were, I'm gonna say, ironically dismissive of this, right? Like
suspiciously.
It's a problem, especially when the prior position was, okay, don't use this other client because there could be bugs that get missed, and you know, like, but bugs do happen, and the irony being that here we are. However, and this is where some people will be mad, but this is objectively hilarious. After everybody was like, how could Core have let this happen? What if Luke had let this slip? Wicked tweets. Here's the same bug in Knots version 29.x. Might want to patch that. That is objectively fucking hilarious. I mean, come on. I'm a fan of multiple implementations, but this is the literal Spider-Man meme pointing at each other for the same shit. In reality, yes, bugs do happen in various types of software. It is good to get as many eyeballs on code as possible, but I think everybody here, like, it's just a neighborhood of glass houses for this particular argument. And I mean, I don't know. I thought this was funny. It's not funny if you fucked up and lost a wallet, but the conversation and the situation is objectively hilarious when you step back from the fact that, holy fuck, that's not a good bug. Nathan, thoughts? Let's go.
Everybody throw tomatoes at Ben. My thoughts here are, I hope this actually adds a little bit of humility to everybody, right? And I'm not trying to take shots at anyone specifically. Like Matt Odell, stay humble and stack sats. It's good for a reason. Like, honestly, they should have just fucking left data carrier alone. Like, you should have just not touched it instead of having all this infighting and everything that happened. Like, should have just left it the fuck alone and maybe looked for bugs that resulted in deleted wallets on all sides around. Everybody missed this one. So everyone's got kind of egg on their face that we got so focused on things, particularly increasing the size, in my opinion, that we distracted from what's really important. There are like cleanup that needs to happen. There are things that need to be fixed in this. And it's nice to, because both, well, I have one side definitely favored over the other, not while one side I favor over the other, particularly because I'm coming from that Austrian perspective in the first place, but I can see arguments on the other side, to be honest. I don't think it's an easy fix, just to throw that out there, but everyone was so on their goddamn high horse, right? Do you know what I mean? It was like, can we just come back down to earth, not be so sure that we're right, and keep working on this project together a little bit more as well, too? We had that moment, and we should still have it right now with Bill and Keone going to prison, where everyone's like, let's focus on what's important, defending Bitcoiners, open source development, defending the tools, defending our right to privacy. That really matters. And so it was good to have everybody completely come together, and let's just focus on that. And I feel like this is a little bit reminder, too, that like, that we're going to have the two camps. We're going to have the two implementations. I like competing implementations. I'm with you on that, but let's focus on like, let's make sure that the code doesn't delete our wallets, guys. I think that's let's start with that. Does not delete wallet. Again, another reminder to have your damn backup. Get your seed words on metal, friends. Like, you have your backups on hand.
Imagine the update notes for the next release. And one of the notes is, does not delete wallet. New feature, does not delete wallets. Yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you nailed it here. I hope everybody can, take a moment and, maybe have a chuckle and actually get to work and continue the good fight and run whatever you like. I think that's the key thing. Okay, enough with the drama here. A couple other things before we pivot to our last section here. Just a couple little updates on. So I just dropped a tutorial earlier, and Nathan, the main thing that I want to highlight here is going to be your artwork, because you've really outdone yourself with this thumbnail. My daughter thought it was so hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Not only is it hilarious, but you also took the gray out of my beard. So I appreciate you making me look better than I actually look. But yeah, besides the fact, I did a video on the heat bit. So this is a home miner / space heater / air purifier as well. I encourage you to go take a look and decide for yourself what you like. But I was pleasantly surprised. Very, very easy to operate. It was set up in a few minutes. Hash rate for price, I would say the higher end model, being the newer one, it makes sense that that it's going to cost, that the cost is more in line in terms of hash rate. But also you need to kind of keep in mind that like you're getting a triple purpose device. You're getting a miner, you're getting a home heater, and you're getting an air purifier / HEPA filter. And so I try to contrast and compare other multi-purpose mining devices that are like built in a high-end way. And so, but yeah, I would say that the Trio compared to like the higher, the one with more hash, jumping to the higher one makes a lot of sense, because I think for what is it? It's like I want to say like 30% price bump. It is quadruple the hash rate. So, and then the same functionality when it comes to HEPA filter and the heating. So anyways, enjoyed it. Thought it was cool. Also gave some suggestions on what I'd like to see from the app and Lightning integration, all that stuff later on. So yeah, check that out. I thought it was really cool. And in the same vein, I've not done a video on this, but I just saw this on my feed. I thought it was pretty neat and I want it really bad. This is at CES. What's that? Consumer Electronic Showcase? Is that what it is?
That
CES?
sounds right. Let's roll with it. Yeah, Consumer Electronics Showcase. That's for sure it. Nobody Google it.
Yeah. But this is in Vegas every year, and all the new tech is there. So this is an ASIC Bitcoin miner that is a 50-gallon water heater.
I want one.
I want this so bad. Same energy usage as a standard electric water heater, while also getting money back in Bitcoin. Mining revenue could fully offset water heating expenses. I'm curious on that claim. I wonder, like, it depends what this thing goes for, like in terms of cost. Oh, water heating expenses. So yeah, maybe not paying off the device itself, but water heating expenses. I could see. I wonder about that. Like the space heaters don't fully pay off the cost to heat, but they pay back a portion of what you would have spent heating. So that's kind of the draw there. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I want it really bad. I was bitching to you just before this, I think, about my existing water heater. So yeah, in the interest of everything being super green and efficient, in my home that I moved into 5.5 years ago, they're like, oh, we've got the greatest thing. It's a water heater, but it's not a tank. It's hot water on demand. It does it super fast. And then you don't have to be constantly wasting energy heating your water. Yeah, well, the result is instead of constantly heating the water, I wake up in the morning, go into the bathroom, turn on the hot water tap, go about my business for 5 minutes, getting everything else ready, and then have hot water. Welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll take my Bitcoin mining water heater, and I think I'll do things that way. But Nathan, any thoughts on HeatBit and or water heaters mining Bitcoin?
Oh, they're both fantastic. And I think this is going to be a use case we still more. I'm still waiting for the dryer that has one too, because it seems like an obvious setup for me as well too. Throw a couple ASICs in the bottom of the dryer and spin them around in a barrel. Have nice dry clothes while earning Bitcoin. There's a lot of heat applications, even in like commercial settings. So like I had family that used to be in brewing, right? You got to get those big boilers warm all the time. It's a great application. But one, please send us a water tank so that we can test it. So if they want to send us one, I'd love to do a review on it. I'll absolutely take that. And then number two, oh, geez, where was I going with that? I've lost it at this point in time. But honestly, I think this is something that we need. I think we're going to see a lot more of it. And oh, I remember what it was now too. I don't want like I want the old stuff, right? I want like the 1950s giant boiler. I want the fridge that you could basically survive an atom bomb, according to Indiana Jones in, right? I hate modern appliances so much with a passion. They suck. Anytime you take anything, you have to put like low flow or high efficiency or green on it. In my mind, I just automatically interpret that to crappy. It's just crappy fiat, right? I want a toilet that I could shove I could shove a cat in it and just hit flush and it's gone, right? I want power on those things. I don't care about if I use some water. It's gonna
What genius said, hey, you know, it'd be great for washing dishes, not much water at all.
Yeah.
Like, and then you pull out your dishes, you're like, what happened?
Clean. They're never clean.
They're never clean. Suck. And then if you have one that's not top of the line metal, everything on the inside, the plastic parts just like brittle breakaway. Again, new house, new appliances. I've already replaced my stove and my dishwasher.
Yeah. Speaking of crumbling infrastructure, what do we have coming up next?
Do we ever? So lots and lots on the nation state front. People trying to wheel and deal in the background. Canada. Other interesting nations trying to stop their people from having their say and thinking that they have the technical chops to stop it. But some Bitcoiners are saying otherwise with an app that is no stranger to the show, We're going to talk about that when we come back. If you're enjoying the conversation, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed already, please do so you don't miss a show. We'll be back in 1 minute to find out what app just got downloaded by 1% of an entire nation, something created by a Bitcoiner. See you guys in just a sec.
Looking for a simple and secure way to manage your Bitcoin on mobile? Aqua Wallet has you covered. It's user-friendly and puts you in full control of your Bitcoin with secure self-custody. Aqua also supports Lightning and Liquid Network, making fast, cheap Bitcoin payments and asset transfers easier than ever. Plus, it even supports stablecoins, giving you ultimate flexibility. Built on open source code, Aqua is transparent, trustworthy, and perfect for beginner and pros alike. Ready to upgrade your Bitcoin experience? Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen now to download Aqua Wallet today. Securing your Bitcoin doesn't have to be complicated or invasive. With Nunchuck's Honey Badger plan, you get state-of-the-art multisig with built-in inheritance planning and no KYC required. Nunchuck is trusted by users to secure billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The Honey Badger plan offers 204 assisted multisig, guiding you step-by-step on mobile or desktop. It works seamlessly with hardware wallets like TapSigner, Coldcard, Jade, and plenty of others, so you're always in control. Plus, with non-KYC inheritance planning, you can ensure your Bitcoin goes to your loved ones. No private info needed. Take control of your Bitcoin today. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen to check out the Honey Badger plan. Debify is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multisig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Coldcard Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional-grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen.
All right, back in, and let's chat this app that 1% of an entire nation has downloaded. What the hell is going on? First, some context. No, actually, we're just gonna show the whole thing. It gets given away pretty quick here. Oh, my bad. Here we go.
Surprise.
Tweet from Calais. 1% of Uganda's population has just downloaded BitChat for Android. Just for Android. This is only the Android downloads. It's on iOS as well. So this is UCCED. I'm not sure what that even stands for. This is somebody from the government, though. Naomi Tembo says they have the capacity to block BitChat because they have the best technical team that's capable of handling all telecommunications networks. I don't think this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. How about you, Nathan?
I think he might be a little bit out to lunch. And I'm kind of curious, right? It's that Gelman amnesia moment. Like, how many politicians are just coming out and saying shit that they have no idea about? It's a lot.
This is wild. Okay, so let's fill people in on, obviously protests happening in Uganda. I mean, anytime there's protests in especially African nations, there has a tendency when you have tyrannical dictators, they tend to shut down telecommunications networks. And so a little while back, Jack Dorsey created something he vibe coded over a weekend called BitChat. And BitChat uses mesh networks via Bluetooth to create a mesh network, a communication network of near field people via Bluetooth. So like if I can't remember the distance.
100 feet.
100 feet. Okay, 100 feet away from somebody. I now am within range to chat with that person. However, if that person is within 100 feet of the next person, I'm now in range to talk to that person 200 feet away, and so on and so forth. And in situations where there are widespread protests and everybody has this turned on, you create your own internet, a mesh net of communication. And the interesting thing is that in the background, it's actually using Nostr to help drive it. So all the geotagging stuff is what enables you to speak within certain jurisdictions when internet is available. But basically, this is a thing that you can't go and just say, "Oh, don't worry, we've got the telecommunications networks under lock. Do you have Bluetooth?" That this is the thing here. And so nothing short of an EMP blast is gonna stop this.
It's got the best team. They might have that EMP ready to go.
This guy right here has no idea what's coming. He's like, "Oh, we own the telecommunications networks. Oh, we know." We know this is why BitChat exists. Now, I mean, this isn't the first time that BitChat has been used in dire circumstances. Actually, it's being downloaded at such speed in certain jurisdictions that based on downloads, they can actually anticipate civil unrest.
Oh my God, that's great. It's like the pizza indicator for the Pentagon.
It is. So whenever shit is brewing, it's like people start downloading. A lot of people have suddenly become aware, like, hey, this allows us to talk even if they shut down the internet, which is a common tactic in certain parts of the world. And so, yeah, this is super cool to see. Not to mention that, Calais has already worked on baking in things like being able to send eCash, like Bitcoin via eCash on BitChat. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, Nathan, what do you think about this?
I love it. And again, guys, if you haven't downloaded BitChat yet, don't sleep on it. It's not going to take up a lot of room on your phone. Get it. It's like throwing a fire extinguisher in the garage or under the sink, right? You don't want to have to wait to the moment till you need it, that you don't already have it on hand. Have it on hand. Should anything happen, we had the natural disasters in Jamaica where people are getting it and using it to communicate. We have Uganda now as well, too. We've used it at conferences and they use it at protests and things as well, too. It is an emergency app to have on your phone, to have ready to go, to play with. And man, I was just thinking, I don't know if there's any way to do this. It probably has a whole bunch of security concerns as well too. But how cool would it be if you could have like BitChat and your version of BitChat could actually like send the install file to somebody else within range, so that you could even have other people install it without using the internet at all. At that point in time, any group is able to communicate. Like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, if you're curious about how it works, I did do a tutorial. Actually, just the timing of it when I released this tutorial, I put it out and I got a message from a Bitcoiner friend down in Jamaica, Tread, and he said that everybody was shooting around the tutorial in Jamaica in preparation for the hurricane because they knew that internet was likely going to be knocked out and they needed a way to communicate. And so it's not just a tool against tyrannical governments. It's also a tool in times of dire need like that too. So I think it's a super awesome thing. If you're curious and you want to take a peek, just hit up the tutorials and find them on the channel. Pretty awesome. Nathan,
also, it's fun. It's like walkie-talkies when you're at events with friends. It's fun.
It is actually. Anytime you go to a Bitcoin event, if there's ever like a thing that'll say like, hey, turn on BitChat, and you just see like a room start to populate and people nearby. It's pretty neat. So Nathan, we're moving into your favorite section.
That's right.
Try not to get too upset here, but the Canadian government is doing Canadian government things, and worth outlining, and then segueing into not being part of Canada anymore. So let's take people on a journey, my friend. So this is wild. Chrystia Freeland, if you don't know, was the deputy prime minister to Justin Trudeau
and finance minister.
She was the person that was meant to announce the budget back in December of 2024, refused to do so because of how bad it was, which eventually contributed to Justin Trudeau being ousted. She ran for prime minister, didn't get the nomination from the party, and then Carney got in. And then Carney finally released his budget at the end of 2025 for 2025. And it was like twice as bad as the one that got Trudeau ejected. And everybody seemed to just forget why all this happened in the first. It was wild. Anyways, that girl, Zelensky. Yes, that Zelensky.
Yes.
Today, I appointed Chrystia Freeland as an advisor on economic development. Chrystia is highly skilled in these matters and has extensive experience in, I would have said extensive experience in different things, but he says in attracting investment and implementing economic transformations. She did implement that, I will say. Right now, Ukraine needs to strengthen its internal coffers. I don't know. I can't click on show.
Grow in just absolutely siphoning off wealth from a nation and destroying it from within.
Yeah. Now here's the tweet from Viva Frei. This is beyond a sick joke. I actually thought it was parody when I first saw the tweet. For those who don't know, Freeland is a Canadian member of parliament. She was the deputy prime minister for 5 years, now apparently serving at the leisure of Zelensky. Glory to Ukraine, right, Freeland? It goes to show whose interests she has served all along. This was, again, January 5th. This began earlier as she was still an active member of parliament. And she was basically working for a foreign government as she was an MP. Ezra Levant, timeline of a scandal. Freeland was offered the Ukraine job on December 22nd. She told Mark Carney on December 24th. They kept it a secret. On the 27th, Carney and Freeland gave another $2.5 billion to Ukraine without revealing the conflict. So she agreed to the job and told the government just before Christmas, just after Christmas, they gave another cool $2.5 billion to Ukraine. And then the news that she had the job came out on the 5th of January. She's working in Canada as an MP, is in talks with the existing government. They give money to her new boss, and then a week and a half later reveal that she's working for the people that they just gave $2.5 billion to. And then she resigned.
Yep, she sure did. Right after she filled her bag with Canadian taxpayer money and a bunch of stolen money, a bunch of basically inflated dollars that were printed away through debt. It is so unbelievably frustrating. One of the most frustrating aspects of the whole thing too is that if you try to have these conversations with people that aren't in the Bitcoin space and never investigated these things, the kind of people that have never read maybe A Creature from Jekyll Island, right? That could be a good book for them to start with. You just bring like that timeline up and they call you a conspiracy theorist. They're plundering the country in front of everybody openly. Like, oh my God, you think there may have been some backroom deals beforehand? Do you think he just called her up on the 22nd and went, hey, by the way, I got a great role from you? Or do you think maybe when they were saluting that Nazi in parliament, they'd already talked about the plans that they were going to have of where the money would go and who's going to get it? They're enriching themselves. They're stealing from you. Fuck these people. They're absolute monsters. And it blows my mind that we haven't gotten to the point where the everyday Canadian can see what's so blatantly obvious, right? This was probably years in the works. She was one of George Soros's girls, just like Justin Trudeau was one of George Soros's girls, right? This has been in play the entire time. It is just pure money laundering. It's stripping candy of resources for Europe to enrich themselves. It's a big club and we ain't in it. But my God, to be so blatantly obvious about it. And you know what's going to happen in response, Ben? Fuck all. Fuck all will happen from the Canadian government. And unfortunately, from the vast majority of the people, nothing as well too.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Now, I do see in the live chat, there's a very important question. And I think we bring it up. We should probably answer it. And the question is from Brew Baby. Brew Baby asks, why pay any taxes? That is a really good question. Nathan.
Because they'll shoot me. That's about it. That's about as far as I've got. Why should you pay taxes? You shouldn't. Realistically, like nobody should. Not tax advice, obviously. But taxes are just theft. It's just theft by a different name, right? If it's an involuntary transaction, if someone's forcing you with coercion or threat or putting you in jail or basically locking you in a cage or using violence against you, that is just coercive, taking value for you and offering essentially nothing in between. So the reason that you should pay taxes is only because the militias aren't necessarily strong enough at this point in time. But from a moral standpoint, the moral position would actually be to not, especially when it's going to fund bullshit like this.
Yeah.
Of course, pay your taxes, follow the rules in the legal jurisdiction in which you reside, not tax or financial advice.
Yes, exactly. Now, this is a perfect segue for leaving Canada.
Yes, it is.
And, there is an effort to do so in Alberta, where we reside right now. And signature collection has begun. The way it works is they need to collect 177,000 signatures in a time span of 120 days, correct?
Yes, it was. It goes till May, I think.
Yeah. So it used to be 90 days, but the day after the federal election, when we elected Carney, Alberta added an extra 30 days
and lowered the threshold.
And lowered the threshold. So gave some padding there. This is a video of the first signature on the petition being collected. So 177,000 signatures in a province of around 5 million people to trigger a referendum vote on the question, should Alberta remain a part of Canada? And so people are actually starting to get worried now. Like people that don't want this to happen are starting to get worried.
I was just looking for it.
Yeah, and people are starting to kind of freak out. And people that really don't want it to happen are starting to talk about actual election interference publicly online, which is hilarious. So this is there's something called Forever Canadian, a group that wants Alberta to remain in Canada. And so this is screenshots from like their group and some of the organizers. I think we should all sign up as canvassers, but not collect signatures. Teresa, do you mean openly admitting to election interference? Teresa, just like Lethbridge MLA recall. Somebody else, Nick, better yet, collect signatures, then not hand them in. Nick, we might get in trouble for that. But if we just give back blank sheets, Nick, that's a better idea. Then they feel like they've already signed, so they don't sign at another place. This is wild that people are discussing this on a public forum. But yeah, these are some of the people that don't want it to happen and their tactics. As time goes on, I want this to happen more and more. Not that I didn't already, but just seeing some of the leading into this, the dismissive people like, yeah, good luck, whatever, and turning into like, how dare you want to not be part of Canada where you've been jerked around forever. Yeah. And so I want to be optimistic. I want it to happen. But I'm just tempering my expectations. Where do you stand on this? What do you think where do you think we're at right now?
You're so wrong. I love you, but we're so wrong. So wrong. This is going to happen and we're going to make it happen. And everyone watching this and every Bitcoiner around the world is going to help make this happen. You're going to meme it into reality with me. You're going to tell people about it. You're going to talk about it. We're going to give it international recognition. This country is going to be recognized before the ink is even finished drying. This needs to happen and we're going to accomplish it. Alberta is going to become not only the most like the freest place in the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to become the Bitcoin capital, the energy capital that unbelievable, something that you've never seen before. We have the resources to do it. We have more in terms of oil than even like Dubai and UAE. We could be ungodly wealthy. We could all hang out here together. We could build our wonderful place, and we're going to do it. So I think the odds are much higher than anyone gives credit to. I sent you a link in the chat there as well too. The Forever Canada guys are getting nervous, and they should be, because they don't understand the vitriol we have for the situation that's going on here, how unbelievably motivated we are. And you never dismiss a motivated minority, right? And what is it, like an incensed minority that really feels impassioned and emboldened by what we're doing? That was basically the whole woke era that's come to an end. It wasn't the majority of people. It was a very angry, feminist, blue-haired, nose septum piercing group that was just pushing their ideology through everything. Well, guess what? We've got the energy. We've got the momentum. People are sick of what's going on here. I am so optimistic about Alberta's future, but the work is not done yet. The work is just getting going. We need every big Alberta Bitcoiner pushing this, pushing also good Bitcoin policy and ideas when talking about these things as well, injecting themselves in the conversation, normalizing it. The worst thing that we have right now is just that Overton window, in the sense that people don't feel comfortable talking about it openly. Guys, the Alberta Independence Group is way bigger than you think, and there's a whole bunch of them that are probably hanging around you that are too afraid to speak up. We got to start talking about it. We got to get out there and sign. I will be getting out there and sign. I got friends that are canvassing as well too. We're going to do everything we can on this channel to make sure we meme this into reality. Why? Because the alternative is Chrystia Freeland, right? And Zelensky ruling us, essentially.
Yeah.
There is no option anymore. We've got this. We need to build that safe haven for all Bitcoiners to come here, a place that they can be free, that they can actually, keep the fruits of their labor. This is going to be the best place in the world to live, and we're going to make it happen because our kids deserve it, and we can pull it off.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that can contribute to the success of this is offering hope rather than something to hate. Everybody already knows what to hate. What's the alternative? And I think that's the case that needs to be made here. And this is also why I think Bitcoin is a big part of the conversation. We go back to the trucker protests in 2022, a group of Canadians, and a large swath of them Albertans. A lot of that is rooted in Alberta, the discontent with how things were being handled. And a lot of people drove from Alberta and other places, but a lot of people drove from Alberta out to Ottawa and hunkered down there. And what happened to them? They got their bank accounts shut down. They got all of their financial access revoked. And what was the one donation mechanism that actually landed in the hands of the intended recipients? It was Bitcoin. If the government's going to shut down bank accounts of people that protest over their policies, they are absolutely not beyond shutting down bank accounts of people championing leaving Canada, especially when that gets closer and closer to being a reality. So I think a lot of the people in and around the Alberta separation movement really need to brush up on Bitcoin as a mechanism to protect the fruits of one's labor from government seizure and censorship. But also, I think as like a reserve asset, as a backing for a sound currency. I don't think that we would get like a Bitcoin backed dollar in Alberta, but I could see some kind of mix of, like, there's a lot of precious metals people here. I wouldn't mind a Bitcoin / gold backed something. I'll still be on a Bitcoin standard. But some people may need to dip their toes in first. They may need to kind of see how it works, and I'm fine with that. But again, you're right in that it is heating up, it is getting real, and people are getting scared. This dude here, Lucas, who is this guy?
This is the jackass behind Forever Canada.
Oh, is it? Oh God!
Yep.
Fellow Albertans, this no longer is fun and games. It never was. Well, you were making fun of it before. What seemed unreal with separatist aid is now our new reality. Fellow Canadians, please support forevercanadian.ca in any way you can. We're stronger together. I disagree, my friend.
That's a hard no for me. Yeah, Alberta Bitcoiners need to be teaching. If you have friends that are in the independence kind of mindset, need to start teaching them about self-custody as well too. And I think, Ben, the only thing we need to push forward, I don't care what they do necessarily with the currency. The winning strategy, how Alberta becomes the best and freest place in the whole goddamn world, is just no capital gains on Bitcoin. That's all you have to do. Just get the fuck out of our way. And I don't care. Give it to gold, give it to silver, give it to as many people as you want. I don't need any sort of special favors. If we have no cap gains on Bitcoin transactions in Alberta, we will attract the best and the brightest. Our energy sector is going to boom like you wouldn't fucking believe, right? Yeah. We will become the best place in North America. Sorry, Florida, sorry, Texas. I'm taking that right. We will become the best place in North America for entrepreneurs, producers, hardworking, conservative, libertarian, traditionally minded people who want to build shit, get shit done, and make a brighter future. We're going to pull this off, Ben.
Yeah. Look how they're framing it already. It's like Trump is coming for you. Like this is what they're trying to do, the same thing that they did to the federal election.
Yep.
Oh, Trump bad. Don't vote for independent Alberta. It'll become the 51st state, whatever. That's what that's the angle that they're going. But hey, is what it is. Yeah, we chatted about it before. We did chat about Venezuela seizing precious metals. Not yet. So we've seen not yet being able to seize the Bitcoin. I think there's a case to be made for that in Alberta. So
this is trucker protest 2.0. This is part 2 of the same movement. And I don't think what the Forever Canada fuckers realize is that while it may have been lulled to sleep for a little bit and seems like we lost momentum, that trucker protest mentality is still very much alive and well here. They have not forgotten what happened. This is round 2. First, we tried to negotiate. We tried to ask peacefully for our rights and our freedoms back, to treat us with respect, to treat us with the dignity that every human deserves. They said no. So now we're back. We're coming back harder than ever, and we're taking it this time.
I want to give a hats off. I don't know if I should say his name or not, but a member of our team is going to be a canvasser. And we were chatting. I mean, he probably doesn't give a shit. Actually, no, I know he doesn't give a shit because he was. We were talking about him, and he's like, somebody asked me. So it's Mike, part of our team, and somebody asked him, "Are you worried about being a canvasser and like having some of your neighbors start to hate you?" And he was like, "No, actually, I think it's a great tool to be able to know who I want to have in my life or not." Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting year. So let's. I'm going to the Calgary event. Are you going to be there?
I'll be there.
All right. Well, I got to get to some of the small town stuff too. So I gotta see what the tour looks like, and we'll have some conversations too. There's some Why Are We Bullish stuff coming up. With some interesting people in and around this realm that are already in the Bitcoin space. So keep your eyes peeled. But with that, I think that's it for the day. This has been a good rip. Thank you guys for joining us. It's always fun to talk news. It's always fun to talk current events. But without proper self-custody, as with many of the stories we discussed today, you are not honing in on the true value proposition of Bitcoin. So if you haven't already, heed the call at the end of this video. I always play a little clip that encourages you to not only check out the Learn page to be able to go and learn all of this stuff through the tutorials on the channel, but if you do need hand-holding, you do need somebody to walk you through and make sure that your setup is rock solid, then head over to myself, to Nathan, and the rest of our BTC Mentor team. And there'll be a link for you to do that in the show notes and in the QR code. So thank you guys. I'm Ben. This was Nathan. This was your weekly session. See you guys for the next one.
Hey, you. Yes, you watching the Bitcoin price movements and the latest exciting news. It's awesome to stay informed, but the real power of Bitcoin comes from taking control. Don't just watch, take action. Head over to btcsessions.ca/learn for free step-by-step tutorials that guide you through every major skill you need to know, plus full video playlists for deeper dives on any topic you like. And if you're ready for the ultimate fast track, scroll to the bottom and check out bitcoinmentor.io for premium one-on-one experience with my team of Bitcoin experts to ensure you get it right the first time. Don't wait. Secure your Bitcoin future today. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen.